Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now, and you're not so big. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now, and you're not so big. Life is unfair.
Welcome into the stream. If you couldn't tell from that intro, we're gonna be talking about Malcolm in the Middle. This episode of Goomty plays video games because he fucking wants to, I guess. Title in progress. Okay. So Malcolm in the Middle. They were not just gonna be talking about Malcolm in the Middle. We were going to be playing Invincible versus the new Invincible versus beta. I played it last night. I'm not going to be commentating too much on this game, but I feel like I'm focused better if I'm not talking about what is happening because I don't know what to say during these games. I'm also, if you didn't watch the last stream, very bad at Invincible versus. If we go into the online version, in the online area, we will see that in the leaderboard, I am ranked 289,393. I don't know how many, who knows, but I'm that low out of all the players. So, we got some getting better to do, but we're going to be talking about some Malcolm in the Middle today because I just finished the series, the mini series, the reboot that came out. And by just finished, I mean I watched it twice in the last 12 hours because I've been waiting for this moment for 19 years of my life. Because, okay, I'm going to give the history of me and Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know how loud this music is, if it's a good level or not. I'm going to turn it down a little bit from my ears, but I still don't know how to balance it perfectly. Okay, Malcolm in the Middle. I found this show when I was like 5 years old because my parents loved watching it, so I've always watched it with my parents. And oh god, I'm immediately getting beat. It was basically on for my entire childhood, growing up from like 5 years old and on. So it's kind of like I grew up with this family. I'm kidding. That was the exact thing I was going to do about these. This gameplay is going to be embarrassing. Please don't focus on the gameplay. I am so bad at this game. I also did not practice before I got on here. Malcolm in the Middle was always on when I was a kid, and it was just like my comfort show kind of for a while. We rewatched it many times over and over again, either on cable or I think it was on Netflix for a little bit and now Hulu. And it's just always been one of those shows I come back to. And I haven't returned to it in a long while. I don't think I've watched it maybe in the last 5 years. So I was a little bit uninformed on everything that happened because I don't remember exactly. But I have watched it enough to I don't really feel like I need a watch to understand everything. But I did watch the first and the very last episode back to back last night in preparation, and it was a lot better than I expected. I didn't realize how well the finale held up. I knew the pilot held up, but I didn't know how much the finale held up. And it has a lot of amazing moments and moments I've seen in clips, just on reels. So it's definitely stood the test of time. And so that kind of both made me extremely happy that this is coming back, but it also scared the hell out of me because now I was like, okay, they have to nail this, because if it's a reboot in the year 2026, there is a very good chance that it just goes absolutely horribly and everyone hates it and hates you now. And I thought that might have happened. but it didn't in fact happen. It was so much better than I honestly even slightly expected. Like, I went in with low expectations because just basically on Dewey alone, if you don't know, the actor for Dewey, I believe his name is Eric Persullivan, did not return to the show for the reboot because he is pursuing, I think, education in Harvard, and that's good for him, but it is an extreme loss to the cast because Dewey, as you can see in the bottom left corner, was one of the pillars of this game. One of the not game, this show, and he was one of the best like aspects to the entire show. So losing him is like losing your best friend. I don't know an analogy. Um, it was a big loss. So I was very worried to go into it because the new actor that they chose to play him does look exactly like how you'd expect Dewey to look when he's grown up. But he does not act like Dewey at all. I don't think he, like, in my personal opinion of what I remember of Dewey, he did not match that, that memory even slightly. Okay, we're jumping into the bad first. This is also just my, like, initial thoughts after watching twice, and I don't have any notes that I'm going off of. I wrote down my, like, thoughts afterwards, but I don't think I got everything out there. But I'm just going to be going off the cuff about whatever comes to mind, and this is also just, if you're here, this will be a co-stream kind of, because after I stream this, Splumpy is going to get on and start streaming Resident Evil. So if you're here by the end of this stream, stick around because we will not be done once this stream is over. We'll just be taking a little intermission. But back to Malcolm. We're starting with the bad, mainly because I don't really have very many bad things like about it. Like most of my like thoughts going out of it was just happiness. Like the show felt like a warm blanket or like a warm hug from your family, because even though this is the most dysfunctional family in the world, it's still like some a family that you've grown to love. So now seeing where they are now has really like just made my day better. Oh my god, he starts running at her. But we have to sadly start about the bad, which is Dewey, because in the original show he was damn, I'm dead. In the original show, he was put into the Crowblind class like his brother Malcolm because he was a lot more smart than the other kids, but it was mainly that he realized he had a lot of intelligence in music. He was extremely musically gifted, especially on the piano. He even made piano out of stolen items from his house. Like, he was destined to be a like famous musician, and he is now. He's on tour in a band, but he is also basically, that's half of his personality, and the other half is that he's a fuckboy and he just fucks anything that moves. So like, I guess he's got Hal's genes, but like it kind of disappointed me to see that was all that we really got. Oh my god, I caught him out of the air. Holy shit, that was crazy. It was kind of sad to see him released to that, but honestly, I kind of am okay with how they treated Dewey because they didn't get Eric back into playing the role. I'm kind of happy that he had such a small, inconsequential role into the show, because I also hope I'm not repeating myself too much. I'm trying to focus on the game, but I'm also, damn, that was a crazy combo. I only have one more hit. Invincible, get him. Hold on, I gotta hit this shit. Jesus, I'm not hitting that shit. I'm not hitting that shit at all. He has one health left. Oh my god, he's comboing on my ass. Okay, Dewey. Okay, Dewey. Okay, I hope I'm not repeating myself too much because I'm playing this shit. I'm focusing hard. Dewey is kind of just boiled down to those two personality traits, but it's kind of good because if it's not the original actor, I don't really want too much of Dewey, because the few scenes we did get of him was very overacted, it felt to me. Like, nothing against the actor himself, but like, it didn't feel like how Dewey should feel to me. He like the prime example is, I noticed this was one of the first things I noticed in the trailer, because it's the first scene of the trailer. The show opens both somewhat in the reboot, but more importantly in the very first original series. The series opens on Hal being shaved in the kitchen by Lois in front of their kids, completely nude. Which, if you're new to this, this is not the most normal thing. So it's kind of a way to just like show off, like, hey, this is a weird fucking family, and this ain't gonna be a normal sitcom. So this show starts that way, but instead it's Dewey on the FaceTime talking to his parents, and he's like doing these like faces. Like, he was going crazy, even though Dewey has seen his dad being shaved nude in the kitchen for like 20 years of his life. I don't think this is at all anything that he needs to be going that crazy for. I get you definitely don't want to see that on FaceTime, but I don't think Dewey would really be fazed by that at this point. But that was just the first thing I noticed. But like, it happened a couple times where I'm just like, he just seemed like he was like, he had to give extra performances because he was just on FaceTime, and it came across as just like trying a lot and didn't feel like the character. That was the majority of my complaints of the show. The other complaints come from Reese, sadly. In the show, he was one of the... Oh my god, he is absolutely fucking me up. In the show, he was one of my favorites, because he was like a counterpart to Malcolm, where like Malcolm had an IQ of 165. He was extremely smart and gifted, and even had to be like treated at like a high school level of education. So seeing Reese, who is the epitome of the word idiot, is just a beautiful combination. And Reese had some amazing moments, like creating the color Blello, which is a combination of the colors you see on the screen right now. But in this show, in the reboot, he's not in very much. He's probably in just behind... Well, no. He's like just in front of Dewey, honestly. Like, he didn't have very many roles, even though it's the original actor on set. But his main thing is that he begins like doing fake like repairs around the house just because he wants to be close to his dad, even though like nothing actually needs to be repaired. But it's revealed that by the new character Kelly, who is the Francis, Reese, Malcolm, Dewey, Jamie, sixth child of the family, the Wilkerson family, and she snitches on Reese. Well, she snitches on Malcolm first, then she snitches on Reese about how he actually has a YouTube channel that he's been uploading the videos of his dad being an idiot and just falling over and hitting himself while repairing things, because it's gotten him millions of views and sold. He's got merch of I don't remember what he called him, but it was some like Professor Dum Dum or some shit. And he was making a lot of money on... Oh, I pressed the wrong button. On his dad's, like, idiocy. And Hal, at this point, we will get to why later, he is on the brink of a mental breakdown, if not already in one. So he doesn't take this news very well, and just collapses on the ground and has a complete, like, personality and world shift of how little his kids actually love him, and that's a whole thing. But Reese spends the rest of the episode hiding from the family. He does a little bit with Kelly, trying to like one-up her in like revenge, but after that he kind of just hides from the family and he's not in it very much, but that's not where I have the issue. I would like to see Reese more. I love the character. I listened to a podcast of the actor talking about the show, and it's really interesting. So I'd love to see more Reese, but the thing about it is that everyone in this, it's a 4-part miniseries where it's basically just the TV show broken up into 4 parts. So it's basically a movie, but it has the same format as the original show. So most characters have a normal like movie length arc where they grow at the end and understand where they were coming from at the beginning and change as they go into the next chapter. Reese didn't really have that. He had an apology to his dad and said he was sorry, but his dad kind of blew it off because he's a birthday cake. More on that later. But he's in his own world, so he kind of blows off the apology and says it doesn't matter. And then in a thank you video to Hal, his dad, if you don't know, Reese says like he doesn't know why he does the things to his dad. It just is how he is, but he really appreciates himself, and that was nice. But that was very like that was it. That was really all the redemption Reese had into that entire like arc. He just like kind of said sorry, and he's like, I don't know why I do it, but I guess I love him. And like that felt like not like everyone else, because everyone else had started out with these amazingly insane problems, as they always do in the show. But Reese kind of, he's kind of the same at the beginning and the end. He didn't really have very much growth compared to everyone else. But luckily, that is where my bad things about the show ends, because I've never seen that scene. Because everything else is kind of a plus. So I think I'm gonna go youngest child to oldest child, except for I might switch Malcolm and Francis, but we'll go through the kids first. First of all, with the newest addition to the family, Kelly, who at the very end of Malcolm in the Middle, the last scene ever that we've seen. I don't know what's going on with Invincible. I'm gonna restart this. The last scene we ever see of Malcolm in the Middle is Lois revealing that she is pregnant for a 6th time, and Hal screams because they just got Reese and Francis and Malcolm all out of the house. They just had Dewey and Jamie left, and now there's another baby. And we find out who this other baby is in the Dewey scene, the aforementioned Dewey scene, and it's Kelly, who is born as Lois and Hal's first ever daughter. They've only had the boys at this point, and they finally had a girl, which back in the original series, Lois had a whole episode where she just imagined her boys as girls because she just really wanted girls, and that was always her dream. And as the slogan for the show goes, life is unfair, so this does not go Lois's way, because the one girl that she was able to have as a child realized at a very young age that they don't feel comfortable in their body, they feel wrong, so they transitioned into being non-binary. So she has to now adjust to this like change of, not only is she not having like that dream girl experience, she also has to like understand how to like act around her, and like there's a scene where like Hal is struggling with pronouns and stuff, and like they're just showing that they're still trying, but they're still having to learn a lot. And Kelly's addition is, I didn't know how it'd feel, because like I knew there was gonna be another kid, and I was scared because we had nothing to go off of them, what they would be like. But Kelly is like a great like counterpart to Reese and Malcolm and Dewey and just all of them, because Kelly is like, she's not like them where like they just want to cause chaos and violence and get away with it because they just want to. She wants to snitch on them because they're pieces of shit, and she gets satisfaction out of seeing them in pain, just as the Wilkersons do. So she snitches on Malcolm because Malcolm has a big old secret through a reveal, and she gets some satisfaction out of that. She snitches on Reese accidentally, and has like a fun like back and forth with him where Reese tries to like reason with her and be like, hey, well, not even slightly reason with her. It's Reese. He doesn't reason with her. He tries to get her back by making it seem like she trashed the principal's office. So she's like, okay, it's on, and gets his social security number and threatens to report him to the IRS and shit. So like, she's going right along with how this family deals with business. So it was a great like addition, just from the few scenes they had with the original cast. It was very interesting to see. I'm getting my ass kicked. I'm not doing well. So Kelly was a great addition, and I feel like if they were to do a spin-off of this or more seasons, they would be like one of the main casts. And honestly, I would be down to watch more seasons of this character and the new other characters introduced, because it feels like that this show never gets old. But Kelly is a great addition. Then we get on to the second youngest character in the family, Jamie, who is been recasted as well, but like the last time we saw Jamie, he was like 2, so I don't think very many people are going to notice a difference. But Jamie has grown all up and is now in the Coast Guard, similar to how Francis was in military school, except for this time it's voluntary. And he is just like his brothers. He is like just like an idiot, and like he does not care about his job, and he's just like an amalgamation of all the characters combined a little bit. But we barely see anything of him. He's like in a background of a little bit of a shot, and then he shows up at the anniversary and like has a little bit of a line, and he doesn't really do much. But he doesn't really need to, because it's Jamie, and we don't really know anything about Jamie except for that he breaks shit, which he does mention that he loves the sound of stuff breaking in like a video at the end. So that was a nice like thing. Then we get on to Dewey. We've talked about Dewey. Now it's time for the man in the middle, Malcolm. Malcolm Middle. The show revolves around him. It's Middle Malcolm. He has completely abandoned his family after going to Harvard because he got a successful business dealing with charity and food donations from, like, they have a like computer system that gives food from the grocery stores to charity. So like he always has an excuse to bail on his family, and he has for the very least 14 years, because 15 years actually, I believe, because he has a teenage daughter who the family know nothing about. Like, they don't know they exist even slightly. And when we first see his daughter, she's crying in her room, and Malcolm quickly exits the room. And if you know nothing about Malcolm in the Middle, it's like it's a no. Oh my god, I'm pieces now. It's a no laugh track sitcom, but the main character Malcolm, in the middle, he is the one that's like the main focal point. So he treats this show as a mockumentary, but no one else like hears him when he talks to the camera or anything like that. It's just like a him and the audience thing, and he has basically been the only person, I believe, the only person to ever break the fourth wall in this show and acknowledge the camera and the audience at home and shit, because we're kind of his like subconscious. And this time his daughter looks to the camera and is like the secondary main character to his main character. And it's a really interesting, like, I didn't expect it to be genetic, but that was a good surprise, and like made a lot of sense and ties in at the end pretty well. and allows for some like changes into the story, which is really interesting. Her arc is kind of just like learning how to fit in and realizing like she's fucking weird because she's Malcolm's son and he's doing every single thing he possibly can to not be his mom, and in doing so he is just the most loving, well, in his mind, what he thinks is the most loving father he can be, and it's just like smothering her in happiness and stuff because he doesn't understand what empathy is, so he just does what he thinks he should do, and this all comes to a head when Malcolm's girlfriend, who he has been starting to date, wants to meet his daughter, so they end up meeting, and Malcolm has like informed both of them on every single little detail about their lives so they could act perfectly because that's what he needs and to feel like he can be social. So they start clowning on each other and to him, and at this point is when Kelly razzed on him that he's not coming to his parents' anniversary because the entirety of this movie series thing is following Hal and Lois's 40-year anniversary because they love each other more than life itself, and it's the cutest thing in the world. But Malcolm is trying to avoid it, so Kelly snitches on him, and Lois and Hal burst into the room where his daughter and wife and girlfriend are, and they are distraught to say the least. And Hal goes into the mental breakdown, of course, because they didn't know that his daughter existed for like more than a decade. So they feel like the worst thing in the world to him is just the fact that they exist, which is that's not great. So hell yeah, Invincible's dead. Completely lost my train of thought. I don't know why. But they're having the anniversary and he's not coming, so they burst in and they're like, what the fuck? And he's like, but wait, I can explain. He runs off because he does not know how to address his feelings, which pisses off his girlfriend, who leaves and is like, I don't want to talk to you. And that's the end of that. And his daughter's like, what the fuck? There's like a whole family that you told me was like dead and like exists, and like I don't know them at all and shit. So he has to like completely repent for just abandoning his family because he feels like he's a better person when he's not around them, which is, I don't know why I'm losing my train of thought. His arc is pretty interesting. It's Malcolm. He's the worst person in the world, kinda. He does not know any social cues whatsoever, and is just an asshole a lot of the time. But he does learn his lesson at the end and understand that he needs to love more because, like, his mom ended up being right, having to, like, putting the pressure on him, and, like, he found this woman he loves and his daughter and everything. And that's because of, like retroactively because of what she did, because he wanted to do the exact opposite of that, and she basically, like, kind of knew that. Yeah, my thoughts, I should have had notes for this. Let me go into my notes and see. I'm getting my ass beat anyways. Like, I can try to one-hand it, but yeah, it's not gonna do much. Oh shit, am I gonna knock him out with one hand? I did. Let's fucking go. I am invincible. Now it's time to fight Dad. Speaking of a dysfunctional family. Oh my god. Okay. Malcolm is pretty interesting. I don't want to go through the entire story because I have like 30 minutes left to stream, maybe less. But I've covered a lot of what I like about it so far. Let me scroll down. Okay. Bear with me, enjoy the gameplay of me getting my ass kicked. Okay, I'm dead.
Well, I can always start over. Another son.
Hal has ego death. So Hal, after dealing with all of this trauma, decides that the best way to get back on track is to take some mushrooms. So he goes to microdose, and instead of waiting for Richie, who is returning from the previous series, to like actually weigh them out and see how much to give him, he just dumps the whole thing in his mouth and eats 60 milligrams of mushrooms, which fucks him up. And instead of seeing him high, we mostly follow him inside of his brain of what he's seeing, where he is confronting the inner Heisenberg in him, and who is telling him to kill his family and focus on himself. He fights through that demon and realizes that he was never scared in the first place, and he is exactly who he needs to be. He's not striving to be the perfect Hal. He is the perfect Hal, and the perfect Hal that he sees in his brain isn't even so perfect. So he crushes him into a little tiny ball, I guess, and puts him away. So then he gets a visit from this god who tells him it's time to see his spirit animal. It's the naked mole rat from Kim Possible, and that rat leads him through a dark tunnel to a room with a birthday cake on the table, and he walks up to the table and he cuts a slice, and the slice is still in the cake. So he cuts another slice and he starts freaking out because the slice is still in the cake, and he cuts all these slices, and he's like, I understand it now. I get it. I am the birthday cake, and I will hand out happiness to everyone in my life because I have endless slices, and that's my purpose. I'm not here to love unconditionally. That's just for Lois. The kids are awful people, so he is just there to be a birthday cake, and no matter what, cheer them up on a day, even if they don't deserve it. So he kind of goes crazy for the rest of the series, just like wanting to be the birthday cake. And Lois, who has been stressing like hell over this anniversary party, is not very happy with that. She is trying to do 1,000 things at once, and while she picks Hal up from the dumpster out back, she is driving to do her more tasks, and Hal is like, hey, you gotta watch out for those buffalo on the left. And Lois is like, shut the fuck up, and just fuck off so I can do my tasks to get to the anniversary. And they get into a car crash, and at this point, I knew this series was coming back for like a one-off thing. This was in the third episode, the end of the third episode, where Lois gets crashed into in the car, and Hal's like, Lois? And then the credits roll. I didn't know if they were gonna like completely take the like dark route and like kill off one of the parents and have that be like the big twist of the series. They didn't. Lois is fine. She just broke her leg, and she's like, fuck it, I did not break my leg. I'm gonna keep going, as if she didn't break her leg, which she does. So, Beast, I guess. How's high as fuck. Then we get to the anniversary. Wait, no, I haven't even talked about the oldest son. Francis is also back. He's living in the garage with his wife Piyama, who was in the last series as well. And they are now expecting a baby after trying for so long. But his news is undercut because Malcolm had just revealed that he had a daughter this whole time. So like Francis is like, why the fuck can't anything ever be about me? And he's super pissed about it and like freaking out and trying to like he's having like he is acting like a child from the first season, first season. Yeah, he's acting like Dewey from the first season of like a 5-year-old boy being like, pay attention to me, and it's not working out. And Piyama's getting pissed because she's pregnant now, so like she needs him around, and he eventually comes around and is like able to understand his mom does love him and get past that and be a good husband to Piyama, which is nice. I feel like that'll if they do like a spin-off series, his story will be interesting of him becoming a dad, because I feel like he'll start to like understand where his mom was coming from a lot more, and like resent that heavily, which would be pretty interesting. But now with all that around us done, we now move on to the anniversary party itself, where we see a bunch of the previous cast members. I'm gonna close this again, it's not working. We see a bunch of the cast members come back for cameos, such as Malcolm's friends, who have a great moment because Malcolm's friends are all losers and cannot get girlfriends or anything. They all decide to adopt / steal a child and raise him as their own. I forgot what the child's name is, but it starts with an H. And he's confusing an ant, which is great. That was awesome. And they're like dancing on the floor, and they have a funny line that made me hoot of come dance with da 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 da. That was so stupid, but I liked it. Francis's friends also return and commit a hate crime, and they promptly get arrested for doing that hate crime. Craig is back, being Craig. Abe is back alongside Kitty and Stevie. Stevie, yeah. The Stewie from Malcolm from Family Guy. Stevie has some great moments in this. He is gay, hell yeah, with his husband, of course. And he now has a son, which is great to see. We didn't see much of them, but we just saw him a little bit. And then Stevie returns at the end with his parents, where Abe and Kitty have gotten a divorce, which is great. And they're fighting through Stevie because they don't want to talk to each other. So Stevie has a great moment of like being the translator, even though he talks at one word per minute. So there was a really funny gag right there. And then at the end he referenced the very first episode and like fell over in his chair. That was a great moment. Stevie is always a highlight. Who else was there? Gretchen from the ranch was there. She sadly reveals that Otto has passed away. To a puma, I believe. The puma killed him. We're finally into a match. Holy shit, we've been waiting for so long. Yeah, Otto's dead, sadly, alongside the colonel from Francis's area, and also Ida, Lois's mom, did die. They had that in a opening like montage of Malcolm being a horrible person, and so there was a lot of deaths from there. But a lot of cameos came back, and we saw a lot of people from the past. I'm probably not naming nearly all of them, but that's all I can remember as of right now. And they have an amazing party where everyone gets along. Malcolm's daughter gets sexually harassed by a kid, so she sends a screenshot to everyone in the school and gets some revenge after finding some friends in Kelly and the child of the boys. the da 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 da. So that was a nice ending for them. Not getting sexually harassed anymore. Always a great moment when that happens. Hell yeah, combo and Battle Beast. And Hal is being finally appreciated by Lois, because Hal always does these dramatic gestures of love for Valentine's Day and anniversaries and everything he possibly can, and he's done hundreds of them, and she wants to finally be the one to give him a gift like that. So he has to stop his musicals and attempted burial of flowers with flowers, and she puts together a really cute video that did make me cry. Shut up. It was was really sweet, and it's just basically every character, every one of the kids just talking. Well, every one of the kids and everyone like cameoing and stuff, like house with a group of friends that play poker, and they all talk about how much. Damn. They all talk about how much Hal means to them in a word that like describes him. It was really sweet and showed how much Lois loves him, and that was really sweet. But Hal does in fact have something up his sleeve. He has a huge bag of glitter that's above the rafters that is not allowed by the venue. But as him and Lois dance, I believe to. I don't remember what the song had importance of, but the song definitely had importance from the original series. But he's finally up. It definitely had importance, and Francis was above trying to open the zipper of the glitter bag, and instead of opening all the glitter and having a nice glitter moment, Hal is immediately crushed to death under a 1,000-pound bag of confetti, and Francis falls after onto the confetti, exploding everything, exploding Hal into glitter all over the place. And for a solid 30 seconds, I genuinely believed Hal Wilkerson was dead and completely gone. Especially because combined with Lois's video, the end of it looked so much like a funeral video, and she tried her best to edit it, but it did come across as Hal is dying or is dead, and that happened. So then he died, and I was like, holy shit, they actually are killing him off at the end of it. That is crazy. No, he's just glitter now. But he was just covered head to toe to God knows where in glitter, and so is Francis. He's fine. He didn't die. They lost their deposit on the venue. It's fine. I was so scared that he was gone, but luckily everyone is out. Everyone's happy. Malcolm in the middle gets on stage and apologizes to his dad and his family, and has a cute little speech and like understands where he went wrong and wants to be better and join this family again. So he tries to really get everyone to join the family and propose to his girlfriend, who, by the way, I forgot to mention, his girlfriend and his daughter did kidnap him. They Leah, his daughter, slammed his head into the door so many times and gave him a concussion, so they kidnapped him and drove him to wherever the fuck they live for the anniversary, so he's there, and so is his girlfriend and daughter. So he proposes to his girlfriend, and she's obviously like, no, we're not going to do that because you just lied to me, so we need to figure some shit out first, obviously. Maybe later, but no. So that everyone's like, yeah, that's fair. And then one of my favorite out of context clips, it's over. He was summoned to another world. One of my favorite out of context clips from that was his wife is like, his girlfriend is like, no, we need to figure shit out before we do anything. And everyone's like, yeah. And then she's like, but we will in fact have sex after this. We will have sex later. And everyone, and I mean everyone, I don't quite remember Leah's reaction, so she was probably not having this reaction. Everyone in the venue acts as if this was the greatest moment in any of their lives. They are cheering for the hills. They are screaming. They are celebrating. They are chest pumping, and it is such a great out of context moment because there is no context. It's just weird, and that's why I love this show, because there's just moments where it's just like, it's just fucking weird. That's it. That's the entire premise of this. It's just weird, and I love it. It's a great show. It was a great reboot, and that is rare in today's day and age of absolutely atrocious reboots of many series, and this one was treated with love and care, and I could not have asked for anything more, except for maybe a Modern Family reboot eventually, in the same vein, because oh my god, that would hit like crack. But I think that's basically all I have to say about the reboot specifically. I am saying all this on stream because I think whenever the day comes, if you don't know already, I have a YouTube channel co-owned with my friend Splumpy, who will be... Damn! I have never seen that before. Holy shit, I did not know that was a thing. We co-own this channel called The First Year on YouTube, and we upload longer length commentaries about shit that interests us. And I have basically confirmed myself I will be making a video about this show. I don't know quite if I'm going to make a video about this show and the original series, because I kind of want to rewatch the original series and get my complete thoughts before making a video. So I wanted to get this out there in case I really just want to make a everything video, which I think I will. It feels like this was updated. This feels like a lot of the tangent about Invincible versus the player models look more like beat up throughout the thing, and like there was a head beheading emote, unless I just didn't notice that before. Dang. It looks good. I like this game a lot. But okay, back to, oh god, he has his finisher beefed up. Okay, where was I? I love this show. That's basically where I am. This is a great experience, top to bottom. I would recommend you go watch Malcolm in the Middle. Life is Still Unfair if you haven't already, and especially if you're a fan of the show. It is absolutely amazing, and I will be talking more about it because this show means so much to me, and there's not very many shows like that are like being found by me in this day and age, and like this is everything I wanted. So sadly, with that loss, I think right now is the best time to say our goodbyes. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did watch this stream, if you tuned into my VODs channel, if you're seeing this on a clip, I don't know what's gonna happen. I am just happy that this exists. I will watch it many more times. I feel like this is gonna be a comfort show for a long time for me, kind of like a comfort movie. So I'm gonna rewatch this many times in the time that I watch the entire series. But yeah, hopefully that will be very soon. Like, hopefully it doesn't take me too long to hopefully it doesn't take me too long to watch the show again, because it is a 7-season show, so there's a lot of show. But I'm gonna be working on a Malcolm and Stevie video, so look out for that. Be excited for that if you like the first year. Hopefully you do. If you're watching this, you better. I will hit you with my car. Okay, I think this is as good of a place to end it as any. If you're in here watching, I believe it's just me right now, but if you are in here watching and you have any interest in us, you can see my counterpart, Splumpy, streaming Resident Evil coming up real soon after this. I don't know exactly how soon, but stick around on the Twitch page. Keep your follow if you aren't following. Keep your notifications on, and he will be streaming very soon, within the hour, I believe. But for now, I really appreciate you guys watching, if you are. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. It has been your boy Dewey and his little toy. I don't know. Dewey. It has been your boy Dewey and the Goo Patrol. You know, we'll see you in the next one. I appreciate you all. Have a good one. Good night. Good night.